All right, let's begin.
Yep.
Welcome to my formative interview. Uh, yeah, the core idea of the interview is understanding how people approach tasks, and yeah, we're just doing a neat finding exercise almost through the interview. Aditya, welcome. Uh, can you tell me about your name, age, occupation, or whatever you're doing right now currently?
Happy to help you, Yasin. I'm
Mm-hmm.
Aditya
Mm-hmm.
and I'm 23 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I currently work as a prompt engineer for Novartis for the
Okay.
past 1 year.
Awesome. All right. Tell me what's keeping you busy these days. Like, what's on your plate?
So, work is the major stuff that is keeping me busy.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from work, I do indulge in some activities like watching podcasts on YouTube or any talk shows for the matter, talk shows, and some sim racing. These are things that keep me busy for now.
All right. In terms of work, uh, do you use these as like a scapegoat to like differentiate from work, or are you comfortable handling all of these tasks? Because you mentioned gaming, doing work, listening to podcasts. That's like a ton of stuff on a single day. So explain me like what goes through your mind when you do all of these things.
Yeah, so the first thing that I do is get ready when I wake up
Mm-hmm.
to handle my work.
All right.
So everything is segregated when it comes to activities. Like work is done at a specific time, gaming is done at a specific time, and listening to podcasts and sort of stuff is done in a designated time. So all the tasks are separated at different time intervals.
Interesting. So you segregate them. Okay, like let's get like it's almost like a full day run through. But let's say you have yesterday or your last working day, for example. Uh, like walk me through the day, and let's say you had like a plan to do something, and what actually happened by bedtime. Can you give like a full rundown about what really happened?
Yeah, so an average working day goes for me like this. So I
Mm-hmm.
wake up in the morning at like 8 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
and I give myself an hour to get ready,
Okay.
like brushing teeth and all those stuff.
Okay.
And after an hour, I sit for work. So I work from home, so no going to office and stuff. So I just sit for work,
Mm-hmm.
and I usually have my first hour of the work preparing for things. So I'll have no meetings in the first hour of my work. So uh, I'll just have a recap of the previous day or the week, and prepare a schedule for myself for the day. Look at my calendar for meetings and stuff, and prepare myself for those stuff. So that is the first hour, and I'll be having continuous meetings
Mm-hmm.
after the first hour.
Okay.
So that is how my work goes.
Mm-hmm. So
And after work,
okay, before we get to
I
that,
and I
when does your work end? Like a rough timing of when the work ends.
So I start working at around 9 o'clock, and I
Mm-hmm.
take a break in between
All right.
for from 1 to 2 for lunch, and it usually ends at around 4 to 5 p.m.
Okay. Awesome. Please continue after your work.
So after my work ends, I just take a hour's break, just going outside,
Mm-hmm.
walking around on the terrace, cutting some grass in Gen Z terms. So that is what I do for 1 hour,
Mm-hmm.
and after which I will start playing some games.
All right.
And by the time my mom will be coming home from office, so I'll be interacting with her.
Okay.
And my dinner comes. That is when I start with the podcasts and stuff until I
Okay.
sleep.
All right. Awesome. So, um, so let's say you have like X things to get done per day. You always get it done. Like, is there any distracting moments per se while doing or getting things done?
Yeah, there are distracting moments when I try to get things done when it comes to working from home.
Mm-hmm.
So you have many distractions, like people if they are staying at home, not
Mm-hmm.
working. So they are major distractions when it comes to working from home.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have other things like a bed where you can always rest whenever you want. So that is also a distraction. When
Mm-hmm.
I need to get things done, I just get distracted and would like to indulge myself for some rest.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have distractions like my PC. So when it is running, I might be interested towards using that a lot
Mm-hmm.
rather than looking at my work computer. So that is also a
Mm.
distraction.
Okay. So in general, even if you get distracted, from what I hear from you, you almost always get things done within the day. Is that right?
Yeah, that is the case for 99% of the times. The
Mm-hmm.
1% is somewhere I tend to leave things out,
Okay.
which I will be completing in the 1 hour, which I have every day
Mm-hmm.
as my preparation time. So, yeah, mostly I do get things done on time, but
Okay.
sometimes it does leak out to the next day.
In the leave, you mentioned leaving things out to the 1 hour. So if you have like a set number of tasks per day, and you have to decide on leaving things out, uh, how or which tasks do you think are the things you leave out, or you think I want to know like what kind of prioritization goes when you the thought process behind the prioritization in that scenario.
So when it comes to prioritization, I prioritize the tasks based on the people whom I have to do the task for. So
Okay.
if there is some task which I have to do on behalf for someone, I do it. I give it higher priority
Okay.
by doing it first. So if I have any task that is affecting only me, I tend to prioritize them to the last, because that is when I can skip out those tasks because they
Mhm.
are least valuable and do not affect the timelines of other people. I'll not be holding people up when it comes to tasks in that manner.
Interesting. So the tasks that you do prioritize, uh, you mentioned working with people. So uh, is there like any specific work goal, or do these come under like work obligations of getting things done, or do you just prioritize more on other people rather than yourself?
Yeah, I just prioritize on other people more than myself. So because my job is extremely collaborative, it
Mm.
is a very team effort. My individual contributions have little meaning. It is the effective contribution of the whole team together when it comes to my line of work. So in that case, I'll have to be clearing out things for other people so that they can work effectively and get things done on time.
Okay, so the team tasks carry more weight in your work, and it's kind of required from what you're saying almost. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, all right. Let's give you like a scenario. Um, you have a free Saturday or Sunday. It's a weekend, pretty much, and you have like three things to get done. You have laundry. You have like a work assignment, kind of like think of it something like a research thing for a work and calling a friend. Like, and you had like the entire day. Like, explain me the thought process for the entire day.
Yeah. So when it comes to a free day or a weekend, I
Mm-hmm.
tend to wake up earlier than most people do, like at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. Or most people tend to wake up a little
AM or PM?
later. So AM,
Okay. Mm.
10 a.m. So I tend to wake up a little earlier than others. So during the early time, while people have to catch up with me, I'll be doing my personal work like laundry, cleaning, etc.
Mm-hmm.
during that time. So when the people whom I need are available, I'll be waiting for them with my task. during
Okay.
that time. So I'll not be having any of my tasks put on hold,
Okay.
waiting for other people's
Hmm.
tasks to be done. So when I
Okay.
have the
I
time, I'll
think I
do the
should
task.
explain this question a little better. It's a scenario
Yeah.
where you need to get three things done that day: laundry, work assignment, and calling a friend. So I'm what I'm trying to get out of this is to figure out which one you start with, or like the prioritization aspect of it from the question, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So in that way, laundry is something which can be done quickly. So I'll be doing that first
Mm-hmm.
because research needs concentration,
Mm,
according to me. So the
okay.
prioritization goes in such a way that I finish the quick task first, which is doing the laundry. Then
Mm-hmm.
I'll spend some time on my research because that needs a long time to complete. So once I'm done with the research, I'll be having a lot of spare time, which I can use to interact with my friend.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the thought process.
Interesting. So, like, when you think about everything you need to do that day, like, what happens in your mind in general? Like, you have like a
Yeah.
10, 20 tasks a day or something. Like, what happens? Like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you get all those tasks?
So the first thing when I get in my mind when I get to know that I have 15 to 20 tasks to be
Mm-hmm.
completed is the feeling of I get overwhelmed
Okay.
seeing that number. So my way of handling that is I take some time to organize and prioritize the tasks one by one.
Okay.
So in that way, you do not feel overwhelmed. You set short targets with tasks. So based on the prioritization and the time it takes to complete those tasks,
Mm-hmm.
you can just club short tasks together for something that is required to be completed in order for other some other person to be done doing some work based on that. So all those kinds of stuff will be prioritized and done at the earliest in
Okay.
some time intervals. Depending on the task, the prioritization will change, but once that is organized, all the tasks will feel simple
Mm-hmm.
and things can be done at time, even though it might feel overwhelming at the start.
So, your initial outlook on when you have like multiple tasks is you get overwhelmed. But are you like stuck in that phase of overwhelm or overwhelming notion, or do you immediately think, okay, I need to organize this and get things done as quick as possible? How does this work?
That is a feeling that you get when you are new to these kinds of situations.
Mm,
So after being in this situation for more than a year, I've realized that organizing these things uh, at the beginning is the way to go.
okay.
So that overwhelming feeling was lasting for a longer time when I was, at the beginning stages of my career. But organizing things and seeing the effect take place, now I think the feeling just lasts for a very short time
Okay.
until I organize stuff.
So it's interesting because you said for the past 1 year. So, like right now, you have a framework that helps you get things done really quickly, or you don't get overwhelmed as before. Can you tell me the difference between when it was like a year before you started this work and the difference now, where you have a mechanism in place?
Yeah, so a year before I started working like a year back. So
Okay.
during that time, my feelings were kind of mixed because I did not have any pointers on tasks and the way in which these have to be, prioritized. So you did not know which task to prioritize or whom to prioritize. So there will be tricky situations where a task takes a longer time to do, but uh, it has to be prioritized because someone else is also dependent on you to get the task to be done so that they can work on it. And sometimes a task can be short, but it can be of no use. So doing that at the last will also make sense rather than you doing it at the start. So not knowing things at the beginning made things tough, but knowing things as I go on helps me, organize those stuff. So that is also a key part in, you know, getting things organized and sorted, which helps me a lot.
So, regardless of even if it was a year back, you still got things done, but rather you did not necessarily know which ones to prioritize, but you still got things done. So you never really had a problem with getting things done. Is that right?
Things got done, but they took a very long time to get done. They took more than twice the time it is required to get a thing done. So let's
Any
say
specific reasons why it took a lot more time?
yeah, the feeling of being overwhelming
Okay.
is also very how do I phrase it? So
Is there
the
an
feeling of
I need to
yeah,
explore your overwhelm word a lot more. So, like, overwhelming can mean a lot of things, but like, are you stuck in that scenario? Are you confused? Do you overthink before getting things done? Like, what's the thought process behind the overwhelm that you mentioned?
so so when it comes to overwhelming in my context, that means the confusion and overthinking.
Okay.
So that is the apt meaning for
Okay.
overwhelming in my context.
Okay.
So when I mean by I'm overwhelmed,
Mm-hmm.
so the confusion part obviously creeps in, where
Mm-hmm.
you are confused on what task to do and when to do, and the overthinking part creeps in automatically when you have the confusing part. So you overthink on which task to prioritize. You think about you think on ways of completing the task even before you take up the task. So a lot of early planning will be done, which may or may not be useful for the task because
Okay.
priority
Mm.
happens. So the task might be of less priority, but you might spend a lot of time thinking over it, which is a waste of time.
So, in a way, in like, let's say a year back, you had a scenario where the overwhelming scenario in your situation is you choosing the solution before researching the topic. Is that right?
Yes.
And does it mean you had like a set solution on how things should be done, but as things unraveled, you decided maybe it was not the right path, but you still stuck to it, kind of? I'm assuming.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, but a year from then, which is like right now, you don't have the exact same problems that you had before. So I'm assuming you don't have those issues anymore. But would you explain what all things did you change to get rid of the overthinking aspect that you mentioned?
Yeah, so one of the things that I've done to overcome the aspect of overthinking was actually getting my hands dirty by getting into the task by starting to do it rather than think about it and do it a lot. So with experience, you can easily identify the time it may take to do a job just by looking at what the job is, rather than knowing what the job is, researching about it and stuff. So with the aspect of experience comes in handy, but
Mm-hmm.
also getting my hands dirty directly without uh, thinking about what to do, what could the results be, and those kinds of stuff. Getting my hands dirty at the start is the way I'm able to, save some time when it comes to doing tasks.
So your current mechanism is basically not thinking too much about it and just starting the work then and there. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you tried any other methodologies other than just getting things done? Like you had the overthinking aspect initially, but right now you just start getting things done. But over the, if it took you like a year to get to this point, was there any intermediary stages of different thought processes?
Nothing I could remember of.
Okay.
This is the effective strategy which is, working out for me, but I'm sure I had previous strategies, but I do not remember.
Okay, I have an interesting
I'm
question
unable to recall.
from this. Earlier, you mentioned you had set ways or strategies you thought would be the solution, and you went for them. Is that right? Like initially, where you mentioned you have like set solutions for things before getting into doing things.
Yeah.
Uh, would you think you choosing to get things done immediately could be a same scenario where you already have a solution for it? Or
Mm, could you just rephrase it?
okay,
I'm
let
not
me
able to
explain it
remember.
better. Okay. Um, so you getting things done is currently a mechanism, right? I'm
Yeah.
asking, what if uh, what if this mechanism in itself is one of those scenarios where you had like a set solution before actually thinking about it?
Yeah, it is. It can be put in that way,
Mm-hmm.
but this is the situation. This is a kind of situation where things have started to work out for me, and
Okay.
this solution is set for a particular routine rather than this being done for every
So this
task.
is almost like the
So
first thing you tried, but it worked out for you in this scenario. Is that right?
we cannot be putting it that way, but what I mean to say is that overthinking for every short task will consume a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to this thing where I think about it as a routine, it
Mm-hmm.
applies to the entire way of working. In that way, it is just a single thought
Okay.
when it comes to getting things done, rather than having many small thoughts for each and every individual task.
Mm-hmm. Let let's go back to like the scenario type questions. I guess I think it makes a lot more sense. So let's say, okay, tell me about a time where you get like completely absorbed in something, like you lost track of time completely. Is there any scenarios you deal with where you like completely lose track of time?
Yeah, there are some times when I have to create some documents for my work.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, I will be, listening to music in the background, and I'll be fully concentrating on getting things right in the document. So that is some time where I get to lose track of time. And it also happens in meetings where I have to listen to the requirements of clients. So during that time, you will be paying attention to what the client is saying, and you will be making your own assumptions in your head as to the projects that is being explained by the client and stuff. So in during those times, we I tend to lose track of time.
Okay. So when you lose track of time on these tasks, do you have any methodology specifically to get back on track?
Yeah. So one of the methodologies I use is just by working a little longer.
Okay.
So I just have some, bandwidth with myself where every day I just have half an hour gap in between, certain tasks during the second half of the day as a buffer, just in case if some meeting, extends for a longer time, or I get stuck in doing some task. So having a buffer in between helps me balance out the time.
Okay. You seem like a really proactive person because uh, from what you told me, you kind of get everything done regardless of the scenarios. Um, which brings me to this question. So you have like a ton of tasks every single day. How do you remind yourself about what things you need to do?
Yeah, so I tend to keep a note
Okay. Like,
of tasks that need to be done
mm-hmm.
within a particular time. So
Okay.
let's say when I am in a meeting and I have to schedule a follow-up meeting, I
Mm-hmm.
just have a notepad on my desktop open,
Okay.
work desktop, where I just noted down that I have to reschedule this task at this date, and just I'll leave it uh, right at that time. So when I have some, breather time
Mm-hmm.
in between tasks, I just tend to look up at the notepad and, I'll just be reminded of the task which I have to do.
Okay.
So that will be helpful for me.
So let me get this right. You use the Notepad app on Windows, I'm assuming, as your daily planner of sorts. Is that right?
Yeah, sticky notes have to be precise, not the
Okay.
notepad.
Okay. Sticky notes. Uh, are there any other methodologies you've tried, or is sticky notes the only definitive solution?
Yeah, I've tried to, track my tasks on a Kanban board present on my
Okay.
company's Teams channel.
Okay.
So there is a Teams Kanban channel on our company's Teams channel for each of us to, note down tasks that we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
But that does not seem to be a lot effective to me because, it takes a lot of steps to, update the Kanban board, which is not very helpful. And it is also visible to all my peers.
Okay.
So I could not have my own tasks to be scheduled there.
Oh.
So
So
that is
there's no
something that
privacy in the
hinders me.
Kanban boards that the company provides, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that is one thing. And it is, it takes multiple steps to update the board itself.
Okay. Whereas with notes, you just type it in and it's ready then there. Is that right?
Yeah. When it comes to sticky notes, I just type out my task. When I'm done, I'll just erase it.
Okay.
So
What about?
when I open the
Mhm.
sticky notes and there is some task there, I have to do it. So that is the way how it works.
Okay. Interesting. Um. So this is mostly about work right now. But what about your private life? Do you use anything else other than for your IRL stuff other than the Kanban board that the work provides or the sticky notes on your work laptop?
I usually send messages to myself on my, personal WhatsApp
Okay.
if I have to be reminded of things that needs to be done, only the urgent ones.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the things, I just keep it in my mind.
Okay. You just try to remember it. Okay.
Yeah, I just try to remember.
Um. So you don't necessarily use any apps or any planners or anything of the sort for the productivity aspect of your day. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't use any apps, and when I even try to use apps, I tend to lose the habit.
Okay. So can you explain me more about the apps you tried and why it did not work in your scenario?
Yeah, one app I tried is Notion.
Okay, Notion.
So I tried using Notion and it was good,
Mm-hmm.
but I was somehow not attracted towards using it on a daily basis. I tend to, not use the app at all and, just stick to my old ways of using just WhatsApp to text myself when I had immediate tasks,
Mm-hmm.
those kinds of stuff. I was not just, attracted towards using it on a daily basis. So I just left it alone.
Okay. Was Notion the only app you tried?
Yeah, Notion was the only app I tried.
Okay. What was the barrier you'd say that stopped you from using Notion?
I am not entirely sure about what stopped me from using it, but I think having a separate app where having you keep things that need to be reminded for yourself and not using it for any other purpose. Like if I use my WhatsApp, I use it to text my friends, relatives. So when I just open the app, I just see the task which I have created for myself and just get reminded
Okay.
on the fly. But when
So
it
with
comes to Notion,
mm,
I have to refer to the app only for reminding me of
interesting.
stuff. I
So
don't really use
in a way, the barrier is where you have to open the app. You know the app is going to be full of tasks. If you necessarily don't open it, you don't really have tasks that day. Is that how it works almost?
yeah,
Okay.
we can keep it that way.
Okay. That's interesting because with your WhatsApp example, you're telling me you getting the notification where you're also doing other tasks almost makes you want to see it. So it grabs your attention regardless.
Yeah, that
Uh,
is one thing, and the other thing is that you will notice it subconsciously while
mm,
you are trying to do something else completely.
okay. I think that's a great insight because uh, if people have productivity apps, for example, realistically, if the person doesn't open the productivity app, that is no longer a problem anymore because the task you don't see the tasks at all if you don't open the app. And
Yeah, it
WhatsApp in your
becomes a
scenario
sort of a
is
hassle.
awesome.
Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
sort of becomes a hassle when you
Mm-hmm.
have to have a separate app for your product to meet your
Mm-hmm.
productivity goals, and then
Mm,
just constantly blaring you with tasks whenever you open it or have it as a widget, as you may say.
interesting. So does it like overwhelm you? Like in case of Notion, like did you have? Is it because there was like multiple tasks as soon as you opened it? Is there any like turn-offs from the app?
You always get turned off when you see tasks. That is common human tendency.
Fair enough.
So yeah, that is one thing which
Mm-hmm.
has turned me off seeing a lot of tasks,
Mm-hmm.
and then get into the overthinking cycle again, where
Mm-hmm.
you have to do this stuff. So I was trying to use Notion like more than a year back. So
Mm-hmm.
I was still having the feeling of getting overwhelmed, seeing a lot of tasks, not knowing what to prioritize.
So in your scenario, with Notion at least, you had ton of tasks up front directly, right? And you felt overwhelmed. What if it just showed you like one task or some tasks from the list that you had to get immediately done? What if it organized it all for you or something like that?
Yeah, so when I was using Notion, it would have not been possible at that time. But
Okay,
right now, with Gen AI coming into play, things like that could be, done.
okay.
But I don't know how well it would stick with me if, things like that was attempted.
You
It is something that
mentioned.
I have to feel for
Hmm.
myself.
Okay, so if Jene were to let's say uh, in the example of Notion which you gave, uh, if Jene does uh, all the organization for you, would you have still used Notion in this scenario?
Most likely,
Okay. So you're open to it, but the current system does not work for you because there's too many lists and you get overwhelmed. Is that right?
yeah, that could be one way to put it.
Okay. You mentioned about WhatsApp. Like when you get messages or something, you have to open it and you subconsciously notice the tasks that you also put it in your message yourself feature. So, uh, is there any apps that you are addicted to? I don't think addicted is the right word, or something that you use daily without fail. It could be anything. Any apps do you use like that way?
Yeah, WhatsApp, Instagram, all the socials,
Okay.
basically.
Uh, what brings you back to those apps every single day?
Mm, New content when
Okay.
it comes to Instagram. So you get new content every day. And when it comes to platforms like X, you are attracted to the platform to know about things that are happening around you, around the world. So it is like a news platform for the latest generation.
So it's
So
almost like a
any
dopamine hit.
latest, that could be one way to put it. Instagram would be more appropriate for the dopamine thing.
Mhm. Do you have any apps that have streaks in them?
Could you come back again?
Do you use any apps that have streaks in them, like Duolingo, Snapchat, something like that?
Yeah, I do use Snapchat.
Okay. And how does streaks feel for you? The idea of streaks.
Idea of streaks is, what do I say? It doesn't excite me a lot.
Okay.
You can say it does, but okay, it is something that is, good to have. Like just seeing the number and it is big, you means that you know that person for a very long time
Mm,
than the ones that have less number. So that is one way, and you are also aware of people who don't maintain those things.
okay.
It is just a number for me, nothing else.
Okay. Fair enough. Um, from your early questions, okay. I have like one final topic I need to mention with you, which is time perception. So you have a deadline, for example. When does the task become real to you? Like, let's say you have like a week to get something done. Uh, like, do you immediately say I have to get this thing done immediately, or do you take time? Like, what's the thought? What goes behind in that scenario?
My initial thought process would, play out like to complete the task immediately as
Mm-hmm.
soon as it is given to me, even before the deadline hits. Like it is a week after giving the deadline is after a week the task has been given. So I just try to complete it immediately, but things happen and you might be having some other task due to which you may forget the task that you have, or you may tend to delay it a bit further, thinking that it could be done right before deadline.
Mm-hmm. So
So
for
it
you,
depends on the
the
external
scenario of
factors.
what external factors are we talking about here?
External factors like, you know pending tasks which are pending already, your situation at house. Like we had Navratri, an Indian festival which lasts for 9 days, as the
Mm-hmm.
name suggests. So you will be having guests, a lot of guests that are coming to your house. You will be going to a lot of guests. You will be going to the houses of a lot of relatives. So
Mm-hmm.
that adds up as a personal task rather than work tasks. So you have factors like that where you have to balance time out
Okay.
for each task.
So you simply plan ahead for all of the things.
Yeah, planning ahead helps.
Okay. So let's say you could imagine, let's say like imagine like you recording yourself for a day, and we're like noticing how you spend your time. What would surprise you?
The thing that would surprise me a lot is, you know, like how long I use my mobile phone every day. So
Mm-hmm.
I do use my mobile phone for both personal use and work use as well. So
Mm-hmm.
as you know, I do work from home for most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I also check my office mails,
Mm-hmm.
office chats through my mobile, while also scrolling Instagram on the other side, while chilling, resting. When I do not need my computer to do any task. So that is one thing that might surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that might surprise me is how long I stay indoors within my house.
Okay. Awesome. Um, Let me ask this. We're almost near the end. Uh, on a scale of like 1 to 10, how much do you think the stuff we talked about impacts your everyday life? in general?
Yeah, it does impact about 60 to 70% of my daily life, because those are the fixed factors. The factors which we've talked about are fixed aspects of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So the other 30 or 40% is the variable things that might happen unexpectedly, that
Mm-hmm.
you have to be ready for always. On a
Okay.
scale of 1 to
Mm-hmm.
10, we might have it in the range of 6 to 7.
Okay. Awesome. If you could wave a magic wand and change one thing about how you approach your tasks, what would it be?
Mm, just getting things prioritized in an instant. You know,
Okay.
I do spend quite some time to prioritize the tasks before I start doing them. Right. So usually it takes about 20 to 30 minutes. That is my Zen space where I
Mm-hmm.
am just having the task of only prioritizing my uh, other tasks.
Mm-hmm.
So having that removed would be very good, really good.
Can you explain what you meant getting that remote again? Can you go again on that?
Yeah, getting the uh, you know getting the task of prioritizing things be removed. Let it be automatically prioritized as my magic wand or something like that.
Okay. So you want the task to be
Be
automatically
automatically
present.
prioritized.
Okay. Okay.
Prioritized.
Okay. Auto prioritization. Okay, that's interesting. Um. Oh yeah. Of all the things that we talked today, basically, like we talked about getting things done. Is there anything that frustrates you about getting things done that we haven't covered in our conversation?
Mm. So when it comes to getting things done,
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about the situations where I people are dependent on me to get a
Mm-hmm.
task done so that they can do their tasks after I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
But another aspect which we have not talked about is me waiting for people to finish their tasks so that I
Mm-hmm.
can start with mine. That is a very frustrating aspect
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to doing a particular task,
Mm-hmm.
like let's say a presentation where your peers have to fill in some content,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to modify the contents,
Okay.
the way they look, the way they present stuff to audience. So
Mm-hmm.
in during those situations, you will have to wait for them to finish their tasks, however long it takes. Only after they are done, you will be able to start with your work,
Mm-hmm.
which uh, disturbs the balance
Mm-hmm.
of the how do I put it? Disturbs the balance of you having getting things done on time. So them delaying the task by half an hour means you will be sitting idle for half an hour. You may or may not have other tasks which you might
Mm-hmm.
do at the same time. So if you do not have any other task to do at that time, so that idle time is time wasted for
Mm-hmm.
you basically. So
So in
that
your
is something
scenario,
which is frustrating.
mm-hmm. So in your scenario, you prioritize others so they don't have to wait, but you get scenarios where them not doing it in time makes you go through the exact scenario. Is that right?
Yeah, not all times, but sometimes. So
Okay.
when the question about the thing that frustrates, this is what
Okay.
comes to my mind, but that
Okay.
is not the case of.
During those frustrations, do you have like any coping mechanisms to get over that scenario?
Yeah, I do have some coping mechanisms where I just think of it in a way that they might be busy with some tasks.
Mm-hmm.
People might be people are people. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot expect them to be perfect all the time. So you just forget and forgive at sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But if the task is of less priority, you can just you know chill.
Mm-hmm.
The half an hour time that you have is a rest time for you in
Mm-hmm.
between if you don't have any tasks. So you can just chill and get some time for yourself. to
Mhm.
get yourself in a peaceful state. So it is about blessing and curse, but depends on the time when you get that.
All right, awesome. I got to learn a lot about you this conversation, about you getting things done, and how you've almost developed your own mechanism in place where you get things done regardless of the scenarios and always get it done like almost always early, which is super interesting. Uh, I also got to learn that you mentioned about the Kanban boards in your office that were public and everyone can see, which is I've never heard of that before, so that was interesting to know. And also your experience with Notion, that was super useful, and also your mention of this. Hold on, you mention of ஒரு நிமிஷம் எனக்கே கன்ஃபியூஸ் ஆயிடுச்சு யோசிச்சுட்டு இருக்கேன் தான் சொல்ல வந்தேன் ஃபக் மைண்ட் பிளாங்க் ஆயிடுச்சு your auto prior ஆமா ஆமா and also your thought process about auto prioritizing tasks as a magic one, that was super useful as well. So yeah, thank you for answering all my questions and being patient throughout the conversation and helping me go through your entire day and explaining it all to me. Thank you so much for the conversation, Aditya. Hope you have a good one.
Happy to help, Yasin. Good luck.
See you soon.